Hey, what up guys, it's Jack and welcome back to another video. Please excuse my voice once again. I am still under the weather. I've actually been homesick all day, called off from work. But as of browsing Twitter just now, Mark Rubin gave us a little bit of an update on XDefiant, and I wanted to share that with you in case you guys didn't know about it or in case you guys end up missing it. So here is what Mr. Rubin had to post over on Twitter. Hey everyone, I just wanted to give a quick update on what's been going on since the beta. I know there have been a lot of questions regarding when we will be releasing and or when is the next test. The truth is we don't have any specific dates for you just yet. We have a lot of big things to work on from the beta. We want to get our server stability in a better place. We want to finish replacing the old netcode with the new netcode to improve the server simulation experience. We wanted to get the controller lag that we saw on the PlayStation 5 fixed, and of course, general polish and improvements. That's a lot of work, and the team has been heads down working through all of this as best we can. So where are we? Starting on the PS5 input lag, we were able to identify and fix an issue that brought the controller latency down from over 60 milliseconds to around 20 milliseconds. So far, this has made a huge difference in how it feels. And as a special side note, we think that 120 Hz for PS5 and Xbox Series X will be ready sooner than we expected, so hoping that it will now make it for launch rather than post-launch. As for the new netcode, we have made huge progress and it feels much better. Now this is something that no matter how much you test internally, until it gets out into the real world, you never really know how well it will hold up. So we will be looking at ways to broaden the testing for that. And lastly, server stability. There are really two things here. One was that the server configuration that we went live with for the closed beta was not the one that we intended, but due to a last minute bug that we found. So by the end of the test, we had wrangled the servers to get them more stable. But we had fixed the bugs that caused the issue in the first place and have hardened some of our services to better stand up to issues like that. So that's where we are. We're still moving forward, and hopefully we'll have some more info for everyone soon. So, of course, thank you, Mark, for your amazing transparency and keeping us up to date. It's something that he didn't have to do. And if you ask me, it actually, what's it called? It actually came in good time as well, because as of recently, we've gotten the SM Squared news. So lo and behold, about what, 2 days later or something like that? I mean, I just saw this now. I don't know how long ago he posted it. I'm trying to scroll up to see how long ago it was posted, and I'm not really looking at it. I highlighted the tweet, so I don't know. But anyway, long story short, it was in good time, and at the same time, this update was kind of like at the same time a reminder. Obviously, it's a good thing that they got rid of the lag from the PS5 controller, which is a great thing. I actually use a PS5 controller for shooters for the most part. I just like the sticks better, and I have an Xbox Series X, and the way I'm able to do that is from a Brook Super Converter. So anyway, so yeah, they fixed that, and then 120 hertz for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X at launch is definitely something that I think everybody would be hyped about, especially since they originally said that it would probably be post-launch, but they're making progress. They're absolutely making progress, and of course, I'm actually really, more than anything, even more than the frames or anything like that, I'm actually just really much looking forward to seeing how these servers operate. You know, because if anything, I know that Mark Rubin knows netcode really well. You know, I mean, he did lead the development of Call of Duty Ghosts, after all, did he not? And if you guys remember, with Call of Duty Ghosts, it had some of the best hit detection in Call of Duty history, so and the most consistency in terms of the hit detection in Call of Duty history. So if anything, I'm expecting, well, I don't want to put the pressure on or anything, but I would be expecting something similar with this game. Now, granted, this is a different game and there's other stuff going on, but for the most part, I would expect the same thing. I mean, granted, I don't know if it's the exact same crew that are working on the hit detection, or whatever section of the development would be working on the hit detection. But that in and of itself is very, very good news. I'm very, very excited for the game. I'm very happy that we got this update, and so is the community. I'm going to read out some of the tweets over here. I'm not going to post them on screen. I'm just going to read them out to you. You know, because obviously that would just take me too far away from bed, and I really just don't want to get out of bed because I'm under the weather. So, you've got people saying I can't wait to play XDefiant. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to go to the first one because there's a one really interesting tweet here. It says, if you need any network engineers, I'll be on the XDefiant immediately. And Mark actually replied and said, we're hiring engineers, network engineers. Please definitely apply. So let's see what else. The gaming definition actually tweeted as well. He said, loving the updates. Can't wait to see the fixes in action when the game next goes live. And then Frankie says, fingers crossed, it comes out this year. The beta was amazing. I can't wait to see what the full game release is like. By the way, I'm glad I read that because Mark actually tweeted at me, replying to my tweet about whether or not the game would come out this year. And he did, in fact, say that it is coming out this year. And from the looks of it, in terms of certain development aspects, like the frames, for instance, they're ahead of schedule now. It might come out at launch in terms of the 120 frames. So that basically says that, hey, they could very well be ahead of time. So let's keep going. Let's see. It says, do you plan to release games on other markets such as Steam or Epic Games Store? Free-to-play games always get huge boosts from them instead of being solely on Ubisoft Connect. I don't know if they'll be able to do that because it's a Ubisoft game. I don't know. Everybody's saying, really hoping it's this year. Thank you for the update. I'm sure nobody would complain if we hosted the beta weekend. I'd love a QA test this game. Or I'd love to QA test this game. Thank you for the clarity of all this. See, and when you look at the response from this, the community is just nothing but absolutely grateful and very very supportive of this game, which warms my heart. Mark, without delaying the game too much, please give everything in the game pre-launch that you can. Sincerely, most of us. And then there's another gentleman that replied to that, said, respectfully, I disagree. Let them take their time and make sure it's ready. I respectfully agree. I respectfully agree to that as well. Wait, this game is even coming out for the... Wait, is this game even coming out for the PS4? And I don't think it will be, at least not at launch. I don't know if it's coming out on PS4 at all, to be honest. I'm not sure. And if it is, it'll probably be post-launch. But I don't think so. But anyway, let's keep it going. And it's at the end of the year's release. Fingers crossed I saw Intel put before April of 2024. No. Mark Rubin actually tweeted at me saying that it was going to be this year. So let's see. Let's get PS5 haptic feedback support on PC. Another user says, are you preparing for a battle royale map? Also Resurgence. If you do so, can change the online shooter world. I mean, dude, battle royale isn't even a thing right now for this game. At least I hope not. So I mean, sure, it could have potential, but I'm sure it would be something later on, not right now. Looks good, Mark, but make sure you put the comma before the but. Got some trolls up here. Casual Greg, but anyway. Dr. Spaceman says, I wonder if using something like a GT Sophie from Sony Global would help with testing the netcode as it programs AI that uses cloud gaming instances separately play the game. So you have computers playing the console version of the game like real players. Another guy says, you just knew it was my birthday, didn't you? For the update. Didn't you? Thank you for the update. But now I want to know where I can get the Pac-Man XDefiant jersey. And then the Prince of Earth says, actually working on to get a game playable state before launch. Lots of publishers should be taking notes here. Perhaps another open beta test could be good to test the servers. I'm pretty sure they have that in mind. So, and then of course you got the memes. And there's another one that says, I miss so much XDefiant. Maybe another weekend of beta when you are ready to test the new netcode. A lot of people are asking about that. So, Mark, are we going to hear something about XDefiant in UB Forward? We don't know. And if you did, he might just leave it for a surprise. He may not even tell you. He may not even be allowed to tell you. Super excited for this game, but please take all the time you guys need with it to being free to play. I don't think you could afford to have a rough launch. The beta was super solid, so I have my hopes, but don't rush it. I agree. Ryan Royce says, new netcode, 120 hertz server stability. You guys are genuinely amazing, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this game again. You guys are seriously the last hope for arcade shooters. Yeah, especially since SM Squared went down. Yes. Let's see. I am Weber says, this kind of openness and communication with your community is exactly why this game will take over. So pumped. Thank you very much for the infos. XDefiant deserves all the times it needs. We are patient, happy, and confident. Much love. See, look at this community right here. The community is being absolutely supportive of this, and I love it. Tanver Hossepain says that I think an open beta is the best way to stress test a network and server, but perhaps you guys can do somewhat of another closed test. But for network testing purposes, I see how it performs in a smaller, but in global scale. The next beta should be open, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Uh, and then again, Ralphie over here says, take your time after these fixes are done. One more open beta for everyone to try the game would be best, rather than to go back and work on all fixes from that point. And the year release sounds good to able, but having, man, some people are really like, I mean, I know my vision is kind of off right now, but still, take your time after these fixes are done. One more open beta for everybody to try a game would be best, then go back and work on all fixes from that point. End of year release sounds doable, but happy to wait for when the game is actually ready and stable at least. Thank you for the update. Next one from Dexterity says, I genuinely love your transparency. Thank you so much for the update. So, and again, another person says, please take your time. Don't make the same mistakes as others in rushing the game just to satisfy shareholders. We are patient and have the most perfect game. Yes, I'm sure it's already in your plans, but please add the assassin faction. And then next up, we have transparency. Activision could never. Justin says, I wish there was a fast forward button for the development of this. Beta week was the most fun I've had playing an FPS game in a long while. The bugs were there, but you all responded well, and the server issues were bound to happen in a closed beta with more players than expected. I'm right. Shit Happens says, XDefiant is our last hope for a good, fast-paced multiplayer game. Everything you and the team have done has been stellar up to this point. Please continue and don't ruin the game with predatory microtransactions. Matt says, communication from a developer about exactly what the exact issues are that they're working on have been identified. Appreciate it. Who knew it could be this easy? And then Glow Boy says, worth the wait. I'm just tired of Modern Warfare 2 and Activision not caring about the customers. I agree. Let's see. I have a suggestion though. Will there be calling cards and things like that in the game at launch? I'm pretty sure there will be. But even if there isn't, they could come post-launch. I mean, the thing is, with the way when you look at, I'm going to stop reading the responses now from Twitter. But when you look at everything that they're doing at this point, right? When you're looking at everything that they're doing and how they're like working and actually getting from point A to point B, plus updating us and everything like that, and that there's progress being made, like with everything that's going on now pre-launch, can you imagine how post-launch support is going to be? Like, because the game's already going to be out, and there's going to be less things for them to work on in terms of like the overall content on the overall game. Instead, they're going to be working on smaller pieces of content that are going to be coming out like every 3 months or whatnot. Sure, but at the same time, like with the kind of support and stability that they're going to give the game overall post-launch, like the just the thought of that is something that's absolutely incredible to me. So I personally think it's great. I personally think these guys are really doing their best and genuinely trying, and they're obviously being transparent. These are the guys that we've been wanting for a very long time for the arcade shooter community, arcade first-person shooter community. And after all this time of waiting, I'm glad our prayers and our hopes and our tweets and our videos and all that kind of stuff and our requests are finally being answered. It took a while, and we're still working on getting where we need to be, but finally we're actually getting there. And again, I have full faith in these guys. So anyway, I'm going to end the video here. I think this has been long enough. So let me know what you guys think of this update. Does this sound good to you guys? Are you excited for XDefiant? And what feature or element in XDefiant would you like the most? You know, I mean, apart from what was discussed here, and apart what is truly the most important thing, what are other important factors that you would like to see make it at launch or post-launch? Let me know down in the comment section below, as I would really like to know exactly what it is that specifically interests you, the player, because sometimes when it comes to certain players, regardless of skill level, you know, sometimes I know people that are very, very skilled in games like this, right? And you wouldn't think that these guys care so much about certain features, and then lo and behold, it's really important to them, right? Sometimes some players really surprise you. You think that they would care about one type of feature more than the other, or something that a game should feature more than the other, but But sometimes you get surprised, man. At the end of the day, you really get surprised. You'd be surprised of what even some of the best players that play this game like want the most. And at the same time, some of the most casual stuff might want the exact same thing that a lot of really good players want in the game. You just really never know. Kind of like I was watching, before I ended here, I just want to say I was watching and listening to a Randall Thor podcast one day. It was one of his older podcasts. And he basically he says that he basically said, and I agree with him, casuals care about frame rate too, because eventually casuals will find out and learn about frame rate, and when that happens, they'll never go back. You know what I mean? That's all it takes, really, if you think about it. So yeah, I for one am looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what else are going to happen. And again, the one thing I'm looking forward to is I want to see how well the server, like I want to see how good the hit detection is in the game. Like once they get the servers optimized and shit, I really want to see what it's like. If we get Call of Duty Ghost type of hit detection and consistency and connection, man, oh man, that over there in and of itself is going to make the game even more addictive to play. And it's going to make players want to come back time and time again, even if they struggle. But when a game feels good to play, it's something that makes you want to play it again and again because of the way it feels. It's part of what made Call of Duty the juggernaut that it got to be in the first place. So anyway, with that being said, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys in the comment section on your thoughts on this. Thank you all very much for watching and or listening. Thank you for bearing with me with my voice, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.